Good evening, everybody. Hope you can all hear me all right. 21st Century Jedi here with you. Good, happy Thursday evening to everybody. I'm just getting situated. Can you hear me okay, Foxfire? Let me know if you can. Um, yeah. Okay, great. Looks like everything is in order here. Okay, I apologize for the slightly late start here tonight. I don't think I'm going to go that late tonight either. It might be a short stream. Um, but I do want to try and at least play a little bit of Final Fantasy VII tonight, as well as kind of get a couple things off my chest that have been bothering me lately. And I want to voice my thoughts on all of this stuff because, and for those of you who have followed me for a long time, you know that I don't try to make this stream political in any way or religious. I'm of the firm belief that you are entitled to your own political and religious beliefs, and that you know in this space where I, recently just added the tag "safe space for everyone." Um, I want to try and live up to that. So we try to keep the politics and the religion out of all of this space. We can talk about games, we can disagree on things, but in the end, we have to treat each other like human beings. Um, and that's I've tried to stick to that for every stream that I've done. The only reason why I'm kind of bringing this topic up now is because of my fandom with the Vegas Golden Knights. And I do feel like I owe my viewers and my followers at least my opinion on things when it comes to the Golden Knights and the controversy that they kind of find themselves in a little bit now if you follow social media in any way. And as we're talking hockey, I just got a news update that Claude Lemieux died by suicide just recently, which is a sad thing. For for you Hartford Whalers fans, you know that he was the one that broke your hearts in '86 when he scored that Game 7 overtime winner against you. Rest in peace, I guess, Claude Lemieux. Anyway, I'm going to try and play while I'm doing this here, so bear with me. I'm going to try, I've got the guide up, and I know I need to go do a little bit of fighting here. So I'm going to try and do the fighting here while I'm talking about my feelings here on this. So here we go. Let's see if we can get this to work. Good. Let me know if sound is an issue. Oh, great. We still got to get our way out of here, don't we? Forgot about that. Forgot about this. Oh, right. I don't have a party. I'm supposed to head where? Head downstairs to save my game, which we did. Cloud meets up with Tifa here. Where's Rufus? I'm gonna finish. This is gonna get complicated. Alright, just let me get this started here and we'll be okay. We've got Eris downstairs on the first floor, which apparently we're controlling her now. Noticed this before. Kiosk right here. Walk Eris toward the entrance and the team will make their escape. I'll go on ahead. Playtime's over, jackasses. Who you calling Mr. Barrett? That don't sound right. Don't be a jibba jabba. Oh, look at the FMV here. Look at that. Here comes Cloud on his motorcycle. I apologize for leaving you in suspense. Oh, you're playing Final Fantasy VII tonight as well? Excellent. I apologize for leaving you in suspense about my thoughts here. I will get to it once I get myself to a point here where I can concentrate on it. Forgot all about this video. Switch, attack on left. Okay, attack on right. Form and regroup. Since the next boss attacks you from the back, make sure everyone except Barrett is in the back row. Nope. Didn't want to do that. Take that. Wow, I stink at this guy. Get away from my friends. Sick with Cloudbusters. Die. Jeez, man, can you get off your bike already? Uh-oh. What is that thing? I guess. Okay, we got Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa. Good. Oops. This is gonna break. Lightning. Weakness is lightning. Abs, fire. Applies gravity. Cross slash. No one has materia. Let's do a cure. No one has materia? Oh my goodness, we're gonna have a hard time with this battle. Why'd you do ice on yourself? Alright, go Tifa. Better cure ourselves here. Long way to go on this. Full group for tomorrow. Excellent. Oh. Come on. Mute. Stupid menu. Cure yourself. Let's keep you up. Cure Cloud next. Ow! 3! We got a magic. Get to cure him? Why can't you get up there? This could be a TPK here if we're not careful. Start pouring in the damage. Doing this with limit breaks, apparently. We're pouring on the damage list. Keep him up. That's all we need. Alright, we're getting ahead of the heals here, which is good. Still need 24 health. Yeah, AP is ridiculous to advance on materia here. Mind blow! Sephiroth is alive after selling the score. Alright, I think we're finally out of Midgar. Let's set up our materia here real quick. I have fire and cover, that's it. Where's all my materia at? Like I'm missing the lightning. How do I swap them out? I can't figure out how to swap out Cloud, Barret, or Tifa for somebody else here. It's not item, it's not magic, not materia, it's not equip, it's not status, order. Just puts them here. Limit. Where's all my materia at? It's gotta be an Eris. Oh, I need the PHS, that's right. Well, I'm gonna throw this in there for now. Let's go. Now I can do it. I definitely need Tifa there. I kind of want to bring Eris just so I can get my materia back. But we'll throw Barret in there. Access the menu anytime and select save to save your game. Okay. That's the map. We're going to save here just for the heck of it. We have to get our lightning materia back. We have to head northeast for calm. Slightly new. Take your time to find some custom sweepers in the dirt area. This must be it, I'm assuming. Dirt area. So look for custom sweepers, avoid the prowlers. She doesn't have any materia. Sense, I don't know what this is. You can't steal it. We don't have any skill. Grab it. Well, now I'm at a conundrum here. I kind of need to run straight to Calm and then come back here, apparently. Well, this is northeast. This is going to be painful, I think. Those are the prowlers. I gotta change his Stay still, you little turkey. Yeah, I want him on limit level 2 because he can get late beam, which he's not going to get otherwise. He's got level 1 still. And she's got beat rush and somersault. She's not ready for it yet. Let's save that. I'm supposed to head northeast. This way? This must be it. Okay, follow the team inside the inn and go upstairs. Just calm, you wait at the inn, hurry, get your butt over here. So much go upstairs here. Long flashback unfolds. Alright, so this is going to be a long flashback. I'm going to let this kind of go. I'm going to talk over this a little bit while I kind of advance through the story. Because I do want to get to what I was meaning to talk about before. So, as you all know, I'm a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably one of the more hated teams in the NHL. I've liked hockey for the longest time now, ever since I was a kid. It's one of the few sports that I thought was pretty balanced, I guess, and it felt like there wasn't significant domination, or at least if there was domination, it was among a few teams, which it looked like it could, vary from team to team depending on the year. So, on the surface, the sport looked more balanced than all of the other sports like football or baseball or basketball. Um, but more than that, I always had the idea that, the hockey guys out of all of them were good people. Um, and lately, ever since I started rooting for the Golden Knights, and I started when they first came into existence, and I thought they had some good karma going on with them. They had to deal with the massacre in, I think, 2017 or 2018, Vegas, and you know, the community and the team rallied around each other so that their opening night was, something really truly special for those who remember it. Um, and since then, the team has been very pragmatic and very ruthless, to say the least, in terms of like how they take care of their players. There's no sense of loyalty necessarily towards the team and towards the players because it's a business really. So they've Vegas has used the LTIR loophole just like Tampa Bay has done when they won their cups. Every team has kind of manipulated it in some way, but Vegas has been pretty flagrant about it to the point where they had to actually close up that loophole. Um, I'm okay with all that stuff. I'm okay with them, being considered the villains if they like bend the rules or try to, take advantage of things that exist, or if they're not exactly the most loyal to their players. Um, I mean, I can live with a lot of this stuff. I can deal with it. Um, what's happening lately, now that Vegas is in the Stanley Cup final, um, a lot of attention is being brought to two players in particular, but one actually more than the other. Brett Howden and Carter Hart, both of them were involved with the Hockey Canada scandal, which happened a few years back. For those of you who are not familiar with that scandal, basically, um, there was an incident that happened with a young woman and a group of the Canadian national team players from the World Championship, or World Junior Championship, I should say, in 2018, I think it was. Um, it was, an alleged sexual assault, um, and it was, Hockey Canada investigated it, tried to cover it up. Um, that scandal bubbled to the surface and came to light a couple years later. It was reinvestigated, and finally, it was by that time, some of the players had made it into the NHL, like the goaltender Carter Hart. He was with Philly at the time. Um, they were suspended. The players that were involved were suspended from playing in the NHL pending the outcome of the criminal trial. The criminal trial resulted, just to save some time here on the story here, the criminal trial resulted in the acquittal of all the five people who were charged, including Carter Hart. Carter Hart is now the goaltender for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he's one of the main reasons why they've made it this far into the playoffs, into the Stanley Cup Finals. So, if you follow social media at all, you may be noting that in some circles, and you know, depending on what volume you're seeing of this, he's getting absolutely crucified for his role in that scandal. Um, though he was acquitted, it's not necessarily the same thing to say that these people were, fully innocent. Um, there's certainly some moral issues with what happened that evening, the evening in question, and it's tough because sexual assault is no joke. It's not a joking matter. It's something that needs to be taken seriously by everybody involved. Um, because it could be your wife or your loved one or your daughter or you know your sister, whatever, right? So it absolutely needs to be taken seriously. Um, and I'm currently in the middle of trying to get my own feelings sorted out on how I feel about the people that were involved with that. event, and specifically Carter Hart. And by extension of that, I'm trying to sort out my feelings about how I feel about the Vegas Golden Knights signing him the way they did, and continuing to employ him and his services. Um, as something strange just crashed into the truck. Um, I don't have all the information and all the facts from the trial, which is what I'm looking to find right now. And that's what I'm interested in, is just the facts, the testimony, from whatever you can obtain there, you know, whatever evidence that was presented in the trial, just the factual stuff. I'm not interested in people's takes on whether or not they think that people are innocent or guilty and stuff. I get enough of that already, whether it's social media or articles and things like that. I'm because the problem is there's bias no matter where you look, right? Um, there are people who want to defend Carter Hart and defend the people that were involved with that scandal. There are people who um, equally zealous are the people who are trying to defend the victim, and they believe that the people that were, involved in that are rapists and they're guilty and they should never be in the NHL again, and they should go to prison and all this stuff. Um, I'm trying to, and I guess this brings me to another saying that I've heard often, is that there are three sides to every story. Um, in this case, I think there's actually four sides to every story, or at least to this particular story. There's obviously the victim's truth, there's the accused and their truth, there is the judge who had to take those two versions of the truth and come up with what she felt was the truth, right? And then I think there's the actual truth of what actually happened, which many of us may never know, you know. Um, I would like to get an understanding of what that fourth truth might be, or at least get close to it, so that I can form my own opinions and my own decisions about the people involved with that scandal, and by extension, how do I feel about my Vegas Golden Knights? Um, and it's this whole thing has kind of forced me to think a lot about um, my feelings about being a fan of a sports team, really. You know, um, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when you're a fan of a sports team today, um, you, I guess you kind of, there's a implicit feeling that you have to take the good with the bad. Like, your team is not going to be made up of a bunch of choir people, right? Choir boys or choir girls, where everybody's innocent of everything and they're all good people. Everybody's got some skeletons, obviously. And while you want to think everybody on your team that you're cheering for is a good person, or doesn't have like a skeleton in their past, ultimately that stuff sometimes comes up and you have to deal with it, right? Um, I've been a Dallas Cowboys fan since I was like 6 years old. Um, if you know anything about the Dallas Cowboys, um, they haven't exactly been the most innocent people when it comes to their players, right? Those teams of the '90s, as successful they were also some of the dirtiest in a way. There was a lot of drugs that were done, probably some sexual assault in there too. You know, that's just the stuff that we remember or the stuff that we've heard about. There's probably a lot of stuff we'll never hear about that probably happened on those teams. And I rooted for them even despite some of that stuff. I've still rooted for them. And what it's made me realize, or at least maybe think about, is, you know, what does it mean to root for a team, and does it compromise your principles when you root for your team and they either do, I won't say despicable things, but they do questionable things, or they hire people who are questionable in terms of their moral character. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a fan of a team when the people on that team might be somebody that you don't exactly agree with? You know, I gotta go through this flashback here. Uh, Explore the town of Nibelheim and stop by Clouds and Tifa's houses in the upper right of town. So I gotta find the orthopedic underwear and play on the piano. So we'll just go. I'm just gonna go through and explore the town a little bit here while I'm talking. But yeah, this whole thing has made me think, like, you know, what what does it really mean? Do I it's made me question whether or not I really want to be a fan of any sports team anymore. If you know, do I want to be a fan of a sports team, um, if I don't know how I feel, or if I'm let me put it this way: when you root for a sports team, it does say something about you at times to other people, right? Um, if you root for a team that's considered to be a dirty team, then what does it say about you and your character, right? Does it mean that you're a dirty person, or you're somebody who's got questionable character? Oh, this must be Tifa's house. So I have to go upstairs. So I gotta find her room. I think that's just it over here. Nope. Oops. Orthopedic underwear. What does this do? All right, there's only a couple things here. to jam on the piano. Somehow. Yeah, I jammed on it. If I say that, that leads to something later. You get a unique elemental material from the piano on disc 2. How am I supposed to play that? I don't have all my things mapped here. Sounds good. Okay, back to what I was saying though. This whole thing, and I kind of blame social media a little bit for this because, well, I shouldn't say blame. Blame's the wrong term. Um, I think it's because of social media and all the kickback that has been happening on this. It's caused me to reconsider and rethink my position about being a fan of Golden Knights. I'm still digging into what my thoughts and feelings on this and trying to learn more about the situation and the incident. Because I feel like the more I know about each player's role in that incident, the more I know about them as a person and what their character might be. I don't want to take the assumption of somebody on social media who just blindly says, "Oh, he's a great guy, don't worry about him," or "He's an absolute, filthy scumbag, he should rot in hell." I feel like on social media, and this is why I mentioned the idea of blame before, is I think on social media it gets toxic. It just gets so toxic where people take their feelings about something and they amplify it to the extreme sometimes because they want to either get clicks or they want to get views. Sometimes they just feel so passionate about something that they take their existing bias and they confirm it even further by reading more like-minded individuals' posts, and that kind of amplifies their feelings even further, And this happens on both sides. There are people I've seen on social media who, go to the mat for Carter Hart, defend the crap out of him and stuff. And there are other people who are like, he absolutely should rot in hell, I just want to process it all and kind of come up with my own thoughts on it because there's so much that happens around it. You have to kind of figure out for yourself, right? We all make mistakes. Sometimes the mistakes are greater in magnitude and scale than other people's mistakes. we often remember our worst mistakes of our lives, and we carry those with us sometimes. Um, and I, I guess one of the things I've wondered a lot about is what defines us as individuals in terms of, our lives. Like, are we really defined by our worst mistakes, or are we defined by our individual accomplishments, or is it a combination of both? You know, um, I'll give you an example, which is, if you think about it, it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, take the story of A Christmas Carol, right? It's the story of Ebenezer Scrooge and how he's visited by the three ghosts, right? When you think about the character in that story, Ebenezer Scrooge, right? If you just think about him, or if somebody, like around the holidays, if somebody is a sour person when it comes to the holidays, they are often referred to as a Scrooge, right? But if you think about that story, at the end of it, Ebenezer Scrooge was one of the most generous individuals who he completely did a 180. He turned it all around. He said, I'm going to give all my money away. I'm going to live Christmas every day, and he helped Tiny Tim. He, you know, bought the food and all the stuff. He completely flipped, right? But when we think of Ebenezer Scrooge, we always think of the miser. We don't think of the person who tried to redeem himself, you know? And that's what makes me think about this. It makes me wonder, like, if we make a mistake or commit something that's a serious offense, can we find redemption? You know? And I'm not talking religious redemption or anything like that. I'm just talking about, like, in society's eyes. Do we ever wind up fully paying that price to be redeemed in society's eyes? When people go to prison for crimes and they serve their time, at the end of that service, you would think that, you know, they could just go on with their lives, but it's not true. You know, they will forever have the lingering effect of whatever it is they did as a crime, and that stays with them and it follows them. People will look at them differently or react towards them differently if they know about that information. So relate this to Carter Hart and the others, right? Like, they were acquitted in the trial, but that incident will forever live with them. And unless you really get to know those individuals, can you really make an informed judgment of what their character is like? And that's the thing I'm trying to wrestle with right now. I'm trying to wrestle with the idea of character, and do I want to support organizations who don't support people with good character? Where do I want to go here? Any of this stuff any good? I don't think I can go in this area, right? This is out of limits. Oh, the mansion. Right. Well, you say you can go there, but alright, I think I've done exploring here. I've been to all the places. Head inside the inn, talk with Sephiroth upstairs. Gabby, jeez. So yeah, it's all kind of caused me to stop and think a little bit about my fandom and whether or not it's deserved at this point. As you could tell, I'm not wearing a Vegas jersey or a Vegas shirt. My hat, typically I'll wear that. And I think I'm going to keep it that way at least for the rest of the playoffs. I want to kind of mute my celebration a little bit. Because I'm not convinced that I can wholeheartedly celebrate if the Knights win the Stanley Cup. There are some good character players on that team with good families and they care about the community and stuff. I think I have to get some rest here. How do I get some rest? Am I missing something here? Alright, let's do that. This is where we meet Tifa. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can, again, I'm presuming that the Vegas will, win the cup because they're playing so well. That's not a foregone conclusion by any means. Carolina or Montreal could certainly come in and win the cup. Carolina's not even innocent either because they have one of the 5 members who were acquitted in that trial. That person is in their minor league system, so they don't escape the scrutiny either. Only Montreal is the one at this point that can still escape that scrutiny, but they're down 3-1 in the series, so I'm suspicious that they'll even make it out of there at all. It's a big mess. It is. Maybe I'm overthinking things a lot. I spoke with my wife about it and vented a little bit, talked about my feelings on it, and she gave me her feedback on it as well. I guess what I wanted to do is be sensitive towards people who may... How do I put this? Come on, let's go. These people are just running around doing stupid stuff. Come on. Alright, good. Now we're getting to the FMV. Yeah, it's just been a complex thing to navigate through mentally and emotionally. I want to be an individual who makes the world a better place, I feel like the way to do that is to start changing what we take for granted, I guess, basically. There are a lot of social justice challenges that we need to take on in our world to make the world a better place. I don't want, again, not to go political on you here, but oh dear, the bridge broke. I'm gonna get Tifa. but I feel like there's always challenges that we can confront to try to make the world a better place in our own way, our own special way. Um, okay, so now I have to travel. Follow up the path here. You know, I feel like we need to do better as a society, obviously. We need to do better at helping those who need it. You know, and part of that is, you know, people who, you know, sexual assault victims, people who have been discriminated against, no matter what the discrimination might be. I feel like we need to treat each other better, you know. And we all can do that in our own little ways to help it add up to a big difference in this world of ours. But we can't do that if we continue to do the same things over and over again, I guess is my point. So now we're getting the whole thing about materia and magic now. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm cheering for a team, you know, I can live with people saying, oh, Vegas is you know, Vegas is the villains because they don't play by the rules, or they bend the rules, or they don't care about their players, they're ruthless. You know, all of that criticism I can live with, and I can even almost say, you know what, it's fair, because, you know, some of it is justified. You know, they did do things like, you know, manipulate the LTIR cap and stuff. What I have a problem with is if my team starts to bring on individuals of questionable character for the sake of winning, you know, and that's kind of where I'm at right now with Carter Hart. Is I don't know his true character right now. I mean, I only know what social media is telling me right now, and it's not good. But I do feel like it's polarizing, you know. I feel like it's amplified to an extreme that is probably not even close to the truth, you know. So what I want to do is trying to get to the truth and try to make my own opinion and form my own judgment on it, and live within my principles. You know, where if I feel like this goes against my principles, then I'm not going to root for the team. And I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. I don't want to blindly say someone's a rapist and then never cheer for the team again. I want to know the truth. I want to know the facts. I want to know, as much as I can about the situation before I form my own opinion on it. I don't want to just take someone else's opinion and make it my own. Alright, so she's going to go in. We're going to get to the Shinra Mansion eventually. So we're still kind of following the story here. So yeah, my long-winded rambling here, to say the least, is, I guess where I'm at right now is I'm conflicted in a way, and oh, that's right, they run into Genova here. I think I'm going to say this, that, if Vegas does win the cup, my celebration will be a little bit muted. At the very least. I'll cheer for the team, and I'll root for especially my favorite players and stuff. But it's not going to be a exuberant celebration like it was a couple of years ago when they first won the cup. So it hurts a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, it's tough. I just want to, I wish it was easy. I wish it was just like, hey, no big deal, but it is a big deal. I want to be a person that doesn't root for a team no matter what, I'd like to think that I still have morals and principles, and I'm not going to just blindly root for a team. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm definitely like rethinking a lot of things about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to stop being a fan of the Golden Knights, but I'll say, let me put it this way. I'm going to say this. Oh, it's going to open up. let me end with this thought, okay? Regardless of what has happened, it is in the past. It's nothing we can change, right? What happened with that incident with the Hockey Canada scandal, it happened. Um, we, like I said, we as a society need to do better. I think that also starts with the people who are running these sports leagues as well. NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA, NASCAR, you know, PGA Tour, whatever the sport may be, and the people who run these sports. I got two words for you: do better. Just do better. Don't be the scumbags. Be better than this. Consistently strive to be better. You know, um, we have to stop things like sexual assault and misogyny and racism and all these things that continue to plague and poison our society. It needs to end. We need to be better as human beings. Um, all of us do. It does happen, from the lower level on up, but we look up to our athletes and our leaders and such. So whether it's in Congress or your favorite sports player or whatever, this is going out to all of you. Just do better. You know, it isn't about the money. It's about being a better version of yourself than you were before. It's about being better than the people before you who played this particular game of yours. Um, it's raising the bar to a better standard for everybody so that everyone can feel like they belong and that they are included. That's what matters. That's what matters the most about this. And if again, I know I'm rambling a lot about this, but I think that's really what I want to see happen from now on. I expect everybody, not just the sports leagues and the leaders and all this stuff. Everybody needs to try and do better, whenever they can. It's not going to be easy. You can't do it every single day, right? But if we're all striving to be better versions of ourselves, how is that a bad thing? You know, to be kinder, to be gentler, to be more understanding, to treat each other like human beings instead of like, you know, subhuman versions of ourselves. Um, we just got to be better. And our the people that we idolize, um, our sports figures, our leaders, our you know superstar rock stars, and pop stars and stuff like that. All of them, they're not necessarily role models, but they are people that we see. They are fame. They're famous. They're celebrities. We all see what they do. They are under a microscope, so it's tough. I get it, but at the same time, that's all the more reason to watch what you do and what you say. You need to be careful and you need to do better. And the culture needs to change, especially in the NHL. The culture, if it breeds misogyny and sexual assault and racism or any of that stuff, then that culture needs to change. And if I find that as time goes by that the NHL isn't doing anything to fix any of these problems that are inherent with their culture, I will stop supporting them, because I am not going to tolerate that. I'm sorry, there are more important things in life than whether or not somebody puts a puck in a net. We need to do better, and that's where I want to wrap this up. Is I expect the NHL, I expect my team to try to do better, and if they are not going to do better, I will not support them. End of discussion. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody just kind of listening in to um, what I've had to say today. I had to get that off my chest. And I wanted, for the sake of my kids and grandkids who may watch these streams later on, I want them to know what kind of a person I am. The fact that if they see me in these streams rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights, I want them to know that it wasn't a blind fanaticism for the team. That I do care, and I am. Um, my thoughts run deeper than that, than just simple fanaticism. Um, it matters, you know. Character still matters. And I want my kids and my grandkids, if they ever look back on this, I want them to know that when this stuff was happening, around my team, they should know that I didn't just simply blindly support them. You know, I want them to know what thoughts were in my head. That's why I wanted to kind of say these words. So let's see. I gotta go upstairs into the right part of the mansion. Speak with Shinra soldier on guard. No sign of Sephiroth. I saw him go into this room. Got it. Secret entrance in this room which leads to the basement. There it is. No, that's right. We gotta go around and around and around and around and around and around and around. So he's learning about Genova now. Let me be alone. What am I supposed to do? Go around him? There's nothing to get here. Why do they even have this room? Hitting the button to try to see if I can uncover anything, but there's really nothing here. Am I supposed to leave? Yeah, I guess so. Sephiroth didn't come out of the Shinra mansion. I supposed to go out here? Doesn't look like it. I think I'm supposed to find Sephiroth first. Let's go find him. Anyway, Sunday night we will go back to playing Pool of Radiance, try and get through Valhingen Graveyard. Thursday night we're looking at Diablo 2 again. Traitor. Go get him, Cloud! Let's see, what else is going on in my life right now? Oh, look, fire. Everywhere, fire. He's killing younglings. Alright, we're getting close to getting the PHS now, so... Tifa's going to go try and get her revenge now. Get him! No! Whoa! Strobe effect. No, this makes sense. I think I have to say wait a sec on this one, don't I? Yeah, wait a sec. I'm going to say is that all just because I don't want to give Barrett any affection. back upstairs. Inspect the cabinet left of the stairs, which is this guy. Can't reach it. Have to do that 5 times apparently. Mega Elixir! Downstairs you get the PHS. Alright, so we get the PHS now. That's good. So glad we're close to the weekend, man. It's been a rough work week lately. PHS. Changing party members. World map or at a save point. Got it. No errors, please don't leave me. Head out of the inn and explore the next house on the right. Ether is hidden behind the door under the stairs. Should be this guy. Taking your stuff. This might be the house where I have to do the anti-mako responses. Yeah, I think it is. This trunk we can't open. The rumor on this one is that it was part of a side quest involving dummied out key items, letter to a daughter and letter to a wife. The reward for this quest was probably the golem materia. Let's go check the last house. This isn't it. No, the last house, climb the spiral stairs. Find the spiral stairs here. Is it this guy? Exploring for lore content now. Can't open anything here. missing something here. These are all stores. I'm not ready to go there yet. The last house has a spiral staircase? What did I miss here? Is it this thing? That can't be it. Stay out of the kitchen. Man. Climb the spiral stairs. In the last house. Did I miss something here? There's no spiral stairs anywhere. I missed something here. Hold on. Is it on the end over here? Get out of the way. No. Weapons store. I'll exit this one because it says you can buy a powerful glove for Tifa, but you can steal one for free. Materia store. Oh, lovely scenery in this store. It's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I gotta go through the Final Fantasy VII remake at some point. I gotta take Earth and what? Heal? Oh, that's right, I have Cure but not Heal. Alright, let's get out of here. Where is this house with a spiral staircase? That's what I'm wondering. Like, I'm missing something here. It's the last house. Grab the peacemaker from the chest. There's no chest here. That's not it. It's gotta be the other house to the right. This isn't a spiral staircase. That's not the chest. Yeah, I'm definitely in the wrong house. There's gotta be something I'm missing here. Frustrating. Frustrating. Where did this run to? Yeah, silly place here. It's not here. Oh, silly. Gotta go all the way over here. I didn't go all the way into the house. I can look out the window. There's the peacemaker. Check a cabinet left of the grill to find a guard source. Got it. This wacky house. Get over here. You won't, you tried. Got the guard source. Into the single house on the right. Check the door below the stairs. Find another ether. So I gotta go over here. Sorry it took me so long to connect the dots here. town explored. We did the item shop, did the materia shop, did the weapon shop. Set foot, travel east. Alright, so what we're going to do, I think now that we're done with Calm, Nibelheim, actually it's just Calm, right? Yeah, we're at Calm Town. I think we've done everything here. Alright, so we need to get out of town. We need to PHS. I'm going to swap in, take Barrett, Tifa in, or I'm sorry, Eris in. Take out all her materia. Because we need sense, we need lightning, we need all. We need to swap out again for Red 13. Oh, you got a lot of my stuff. Holy crap. Fireball, steel, I need that. Sense again. Enemy skill, I need that. Next one's going to be the Chocobo Ranch, which I can't wait for that one. That's going to be fun, because I finally get Choco Mog. I love Choco Mog. Let's go with Barrett for now, in the middle. Let's equip our materia now. So, put lightning, all. For now, you should steal. I'm trying to think of who's going to get what here. I think enemy skill is going to go to him too. For now, at least. I'll swap these out a little bit later. Let's put all with one of the fires. I'm gonna throw heal on you. You've got poison, elemental, ice all, restore magic. Tifa, you need everything. So get sense. Wait. Take that sense. Not that it matters. Take earth. Definitely need that. Oh, I know something I gotta do here. Hold on. Take fire. Syria. Cover should go to this guy. So you're gonna cover. This doesn't really link well, but put restore on this. Alright, that should save everything the way I want it. Alright, we're gonna go... I'm about ready to log off here, but what I want to do is go into this dirt area and see if I can get some encounters, just to see if I can get those enemy skills, perhaps. So I'm scrolling up here. We want to hit the custom sweepers to get their Matra Magic, avoid the prowlers if we can. No, that's a calm thing. So where's the prowler? Calm thing. Steal ether from. double ride. So neither of these is a sweeper or the predator. What do they call him? Prowler. Yeah, I didn't mess that up. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Not looking for those creatures. We'll take the extra bill though. Try and do one or maybe two more attacks here, and then I'll call it. Resume again next time. Or I could just take this offline and get it done. Prowler. Gotta watch these guys. Steal from them, though. Not what I want. Talisman store. That stinks. Stole a talisman from us. They're not worth stealing from, it seems. It would be more worthwhile to just kill those guys. Ah! These could be the custom sweepers. There we go. So we need to get the enemy skill from them. That's a smooth shot. We need Matra Magic to the attack. Let's see. We can steal atomic scissors, so we're going to try and steal. Alright, now it's a matter of endurance here. We want to steal the atomic scissors, and we want them to use Matra Magic on Cloud. Come on, hit him with Matra Magic. is. Come on. Wrong guy. This is gonna be tough. I'm almost ready to give up on the atomic scissors. This is crap. Come on, hit Cloud. No! This is fruitless. Dang it. He's done Natural Magic twice. Both times have been on Barret. He's gonna do it again. Nope. Oh! Yes! Got it! Alright, heck with it. Give him heck. Oh, I see what Mind Blow is. Okay. I probably shouldn't use Mind Blow then. I do want to see if I can get the Atomic Scissors, but it's a melee weapon for Barret. Or it's non-long range weapon, I should say. I want to wrap up, though. I'll just kill this guy. Here's the cool thing. Enemy skill, Natural Magic. Boom. That's what enemy skill can do for you. And the goal is to try and collect all of them. And if you look at the materia, you'll see I've got 1 star now that says Natural Magic. There's all the other enemy skills I need to collect up. So we got a ways to go here. But there are some really cool enemy skills you can collect up. Oh, good. I can steal my heart's content here. Defend from a hit while Cloud tries to steal. Oh, we should do a cure. Cure on Cloud. Yay, Atomic Scissors. Now kick their butts. tried to be a big shot, did ya? Alright, we got our atomic scissors, we got Matcha Magic. We got everything we need in this area, I think. We can swap out the weapon. That's a big gain there, atomic scissors. And we could throw another sense materia in. I don't think I have anything else. So the next step is Chocobo Ranch. Alright, that's going to do it for me tonight. I am done. Alright, appreciate everybody for listening to my ramblings tonight. Like I said, morally I'm a little conflicted. Eventually, I hope I will reach the comfortable spot that I'm looking for. Take care, Foxfire. Thanks for joining me and listening to me as always. Like I said, I'm hoping that my future sessions will be less rambly, I guess, to say the least. We'll keep it to the safe space stuff, keep the politics and religion out of it and stuff. I just wanted to get all that stuff off my chest and let everybody know how I was feeling. So, anyway, this is 21st Century Jedi reminding you to take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Fins up, bubbles up. Hope you all have a great week and a great weekend, and I'll see you all Sunday evening when we will do some, let's see, Pool of Radiance. We're going to get that graveyard and hopefully knock that out. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a great night.